Tiani, thanks. New tonight, will Arizona join the states that are rushing to redraw congressional districts ahead of the November elections?
The mad dash comes after a U.S. Supreme Court ruling this week that gutted a landmark voting rights law. 12 News journalist Bram Resnick is here and tells us a Republican leader at the Arizona Capitol is already hinting at filing a lawsuit over this racially charged issue. Bram?
Yeah, Tram, the U.S. Supreme Court ruling targets districts that were created to put minority voters in the majority. Republican Senate President Warren Peterson says that based on the ruling, several of Arizona's congressional and legislative maps are, quote, racist. But changing the makeup of those Arizona districts in time for the 2026 elections is a real long shot. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled.
Part of districting has been based off of race. I mean, that by definition is racist, right?
Republican Senate President Warren Peterson has weighed in, and Democratic Secretary of State Adrian Fontes is responding.
It is not racist. What we have is guarantees that were hard fought by the folks who got their heads bashed in at the Edmund Pettus Bridge just because they wanted their voices heard.
In a 6-3 vote, the High Court decided that the 1965 voting rights law designed to remedy racism was unconstitutional. The Civil Rights era law led to the creation of 2 majority Latino congressional districts in Arizona, the 3rd district seat held by Yasamin Ansari and Adelita Grijalva's 7th district seat.
The second we saw the ruling, we started putting it in the works.
Arizona's independent redistricting law has been held up as a national model. It was approved by voters 26 years ago to keep politicians out of the map-making process.
Arizona voters enshrined in our Constitution this independent redistricting commission. And for anybody to say they know better or they think better because they're facing political losses, that's cheating.
Redrawing congressional and legislative maps approved by the commission would be a drawn-out process.
If a group or political leaders want to go back and try and redraw our congressional districts here in the state of Arizona, they could only do so by court order.
Doug Cole has been involved in selecting redistricting commissioners. He says a court order could only require commissioners to get back to work.
Seems to me this is going to have to wait till 28 if they want to do something.
If you look at the calendar and all the deadlines that are constitutional and statutory to operate an election, it'd be very difficult by the Arizona Constitution to do anything for the 2026 election.
The chair of the Arizona Independent Redistricting Commission, Erica Newberg, declined to comment because of the threat of litigation. Bram Resnick, 12 News.